Hello, you know who it is. It is Theta Sigma. In the past, I used to do lives on Facebook and YouTube. And my idea for interactive video is to include what feels like a live in a normal video. So my expression, the way I'm conveying stuff, presents this video as more of a live streaming video. But every time you watch this video, it's like you're seeing it for the first time again. So that's all you need to do. You're done with this video. Watch it again. You're going to be refreshed with a whole new perspective. And it depends how you read the way I'm talking. So every time you hear how I'm talking, don't focus on each word the same way you focus on the word every single time of what is expressed. Heck, I want to do like 50 push-ups right now, but I'm not going to do it until later. Drank like 5 of these, and I have another one. It's good. It's fresh. Vapor distilled water with electrolytes added for taste. Calorie zero. No sodium, no carbohydrates, no fat, no protein. Cap is small part and poses choking hazard. Ingredients: vapor distilled water, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, potassium bicarbonate. It's not a source of saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, total sugars, added sugars, vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassium, and it's plastic, but what can you do? So how is everyone's day going? My day is vibrant, exceptional. Was talking a lot about my everyday life with my friend Manny, and talking about how he's dealing with work as well. I'm not working, but everyone's struggling right now, paying bills. Most people are struggling in the U.S. A lot of more people are struggling in Mexico, but Mexico is a more less depressed country than America. I don't know what the definition of depression is. I don't think it's really a real thing, but isn't it cool? Like on this video, everything kind of has a sideways perception. Not everything is so straight. This is how the real world looks if you pay more attention to it. Hypergraphic, like. That's why MUTV creates this perception of inflation through hypergraphic tendencies. 2 nodes interlinking with one more node creates a hyper edge, and more nodes create more hyper edges, and you delete nodes to form new nodes connecting to earlier nodes, and it's a system that self-edits. But I'm working with a network perception to build a network perception of the code built by hypergraphs. Counting through still can be linear. So if a hypergraph is like 1, 2, 5, 7, 10, 99, 100, like that, it would be 1, 10, 9, 7, 9, 100 in a straight line. You can read it like that. And it's possible. but it's complicated. I'm also working as a valedictorian teacher in this episodic adventure. We're out of the council and we're getting into high council territory in the valedictorian entertainment school. And what can you say? This is how we get into stuff. Sports are pro wrestling, pro basketball, pro football, all that stuff. It's going to be implemented in Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. It's going to be cool. And there'll be wrestling events in parks like East Swamp Park, Lincoln Park, Washington Park. But it won't be chaotic. It will be like it would set up a stage. It would be kind of like a circus. But not a circus. It would look more like normal wrestling. It will have a stage. It'll be cool. But it takes you guys to fund this, because I'm working to fund this whole situation. This is the only way I'll be able to make money fast. That's how it works. So what can you do? Watch my videos. Help me become verified on YouTube. And I'm going to share these videos on Facebook. So I'm going to be able to do all the stuff that I need to do. And it's good. Then we could get more into AKR news and Conscious Politics 2. We already went through Conscious Politics 1. It didn't work that well. And a lot of people got lost into distilled declassification. And it turned out to be really bad and caused chaotic tendencies of robotic nature. Depersonalization is a consort of it. But got these chips again. My friend bought them. They're called Rancheritos El Mero Sabor Ranchero Spicy Corn Tortilla Chips. 5.1 ounces. Calories 141. There's a lot cornmeal's even in this. Elaborado con maíz. Declaración nutrimental. Y es todo. Estoy aprendiendo más que voy a explicar con este video que estoy hablando. Nosotros necesitamos hablar más con todos. Y necesitamos aprender más palabras y todo. Soy el doctor y es el mensaje. Te quiero mucho. And yeah. And getting more into personal development too. The structure is really interesting because when the first personal development structure was spiral dynamics in a forward straight line to infinitude, which is said to be God, and the realization of Sunyata, Brahma, and all that stuff, which is all scattered Indo-European or proto-world languages, and it leads you to devastation, but it doesn't really teach you anything but the nature of how the brain works. And it's the nature how the brain works when you don't apply rules. And it's funny how when you follow the rules, you're not really following the rules. You're just following blindly, and you're leading yourself to pitfalls, which are traps. Personal development one is kind of like a trap. That's why we have to revitalize it and see it from a new perspective. So when you ponder from personal development two, you're reliving what you experienced. So in your mind, you're going back to previous versions of what you lived in, and it moves much more faster. But it's a farce. It's not really fast, it's a self-identified speed. And that is the idea I had for Flower of Remembrance with the Speed Guild. The Speed Guild is basically like the internet, like cars moving in the road, like people talking through a network. It's a way for people to learn faster and build faster through techniques that are quite unknown, but it's all a part of the APC, that null matrix on New Earthian system. And it was built like that for a reason. And it's pure trickery. But once you realize it's pure trickery, you use that trickery as your advantage. But you're not really part of it, because you realize, like, if you're a leader in a business, you don't feel like a leader, you just feel like you're part of the system. But I've never been a leader of a business, but technically I am a leader of a business, Califorco Inc., but it's not really, like, it doesn't really have leaders. It's fractal, self-referential, and can be seen multiple ways. The foundation is through multiple faceted perspectives that are inlined in a way that teach you how currency works, how framework for models and computing work, and all the other sort of stuff. So what is the approach through New Age meditation, through personal development 2? Well, in personal development 2, you don't even have to close your eyes when you're meditating. And it's not about meditating either. It's just breathing. But you have to create a name for it, and just call it concentration. You're concentrating, but you don't, when you read the word concentration, it has multiple epithets of what it means. So it can mean multiple things at the same time. You're just concentrating, and you're trying to concentrate to not concentrate, to not and XOR, NAND, all that stuff is kind of how it works, is linguistics. And you're trying to find other versions of your I to expand or decompress your ego for your own advantage. For personal development 2, ego is used differently. Thus, when you're doing that, you create a hierarchical perspective where you don't have to really grow through excess force, you grow through weakness. But the weakness is the embrace of reading between the lines. I can't tell you exactly how it works, but it's basically, I can't think exactly how it works, honestly. It just works. And all you have to do is, like, sort of fake it till you make it, but in a way that's spiritual. It's like dream logic. You use dream logic to navigate the world. Like when I say that this bag is blue and it has compulsory effects, you continue the conversation like it's gibberish, and it continues to build the system. We just have to agree to disagree, and also disagree to agree. We might disagree with each other, but we could say something like, yeah, that's true, but it's also false in a way that it is true, but it's not really making sense in a way that I can understand it. And that creates a branching logic that, like, is true, not true, but also causes it to equal itself. And that's self-navigated error in computation that can be read as 1 = 0. But that system won't work yet until way later. What we're really trying to do is get out of the compulsory vision of binary. We're trying to get into new binary system with 1 and 1 prime, visualized by a circle which has 2 pi as the full rotation in the radius 1, and including the next form of the circle, 3 pi as a full circumference, and the radius is still 1. 1 becomes 1 prime after that through self-referential and dedicated system. You continue to expand the circumference to 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi, 7 pi, 8 pi, 9 pi, and that's tau basically. But that system is beneficial because it shows a new system for money making when we can expand to a higher prime system, which is just Aleph 1, but we call it Aleph 1 because we don't know what else to call it. And yeah, one rule to tell you is 1 dimension plus 1 dimension isn't 2 dimensions. 1D plus x equals 2D. X equals 1D ... to infinity. That equals 2D. So that own algebra is self-dedicated summation purpose. And the funny thing, when you add 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 episodically, it gets, I think it's 1/2 or -1/2, I'm not really sure. And that's completely similar to the 0-point energy factor, which is E equals 1/2 HW or something. I don't know, HV, I don't know. Which is the 0-point energy at null space, and that's purely topological. That's a topological formula that basically describes a system that can operate at 0. Cool, right? But when you get below 0, that's the thing. So there's much more than meets the eye. Your task in this 14th grade episodic adventure is to work with the council system to build the high council system, and the valedictorian sect, and the guild hall, and Califurco Inc.'s structure and businesses, which are the castles of build. And it's like a tabletop tennis build simulator, and it needs to be put into work. I'm not a leader, I'm just a valedictorian teacher that might soon become a principal, probably in 20 years. But we're seeing this, and the school might be built in the future, and if the school is built, that's good. We might even use Eastmont High School when they don't use their school anymore. We'll probably use it, or we'll even use Wenatchee High School or Kashmir High School or something. We can use multiple high schools and build a hierarchical system through that. But as you see, that was already done through Dreams. We already seen what happened through our dream predictive algorithm thing, which births the idea for the movie The Dreamer that somebody is going to make in the future about a machine that reads dreams and is totally highly confidential, because you get to see into other people's private information, private feelings, servitude, and it's not perfect. It's not going to show you, or maybe it is perfect, I don't know, but it probably feels more real than real, and probably when you go back into your dreams, you're going to make it feel even more invited. Another concept for personal development too is to go into your dream world and not say, I'm in a lucid dream, this is not real, this is a dream, but say, this is real life. I'm in a real life. And then you go through a different lucid channel. It's still lucid dreaming in a sense, but me saying it's still lucid dreaming is denying that it is lucid dreaming. But it's a self-plausible state that is echolocative. That's all I have to say right now. But that's a video. And I don't really talk in code anymore because I'm truly mostly vulnerable with myself. But you have to build foundation in a way that you build towers for yourself. And it's not real towers, but what is real. Indeed, you need to find out what real is, but that might create a problem. So, farce. Anyways, bye.